Welcome into a new episode of the YHH Junior Hockey Pod. Super excited for another episode. Got some good feedback. I'm glad that everybody loves our tangents. I'm sure we'll have a bunch more today. We already had one before we recorded about hot dogs, so I'm sure we'll have plenty more wild segments to come. Once again, I'm Sydney Wolf, joined by Peter Odney and Drew Steele. If you're watching this, I'm wearing a blanket because it's freezing in my basement right now, so I don't care if it looks like I'm wearing a Snuggie. It's not a Snuggie, it's a blanket. I'm freezing. I don't care. But it's been a wild week, crazy week in hockey, especially college hockey. We'll talk a little bit about that, but also about some other stuff as well. I don't know. But it's March. We've had some back and forth weather lately. It's starting to feel a little more springy, but I don't know what's going on with you guys. Drew, how are things in Cap Country over there?
It's good. It's good. Magic numbers down to 1. So we either need 1 point the rest of the way or we need Chicago to lose 1 point. So with 4 games left, I'm feeling pretty confident we're going to be playing an extra weekend at least, if not more. Things are good. The weather has been weird as can be. I don't know if it's the same up there. I also don't know. I'm guessing you guys didn't check on the weather in St. Louis, Missouri today. I was watching opening day. It was 93 degrees in St. Louis today. In St. Louis, like 5 hours from here, 93 degrees. Apparently in Chicago, in the Chicago area, the suburbs were like 78 and Chicago itself was 45. Like, the weather's just weird recently, and I don't think it's just Minnesota and Wisconsin. So the 93, though, I was watching, like I said, watching opening day just on MLB TV. Shout out T-Mobile. I got MLB TV for free. So I was watching, like, just cycling through the games at the desk, and they said, today's weather's perfect for opening day. And then they said 93. That ain't perfect, dude. That's about 10 degrees too warm, and that's being nice. Like, usually, like, I'm 73, it'd be perfect. 73, no sun, don't have to worry about the SPF 1000. We'll be good to go.
Yeah, pretty sweet. It's been I like it when it's warm outside, but it's been a little whiplashy here in Minnesota lately, back and forth. I know it was kind of funny. My parents were on vacation last weekend in Arizona, and they were joking it was nicer in Minnesota on Saturday because it was like 100 degrees in Arizona or something. Yeah. So they're like, I guess we left for nice weather, and it was like nicer in Minnesota, which is funny. But we're in late March now. It's just kind of always like that. I don't know. Peter, how are things going in your world? Any tangents you want to focus on today?
Yeah, man, that Iran thing is crazy.
Isn't
that just nuts?
Deep.
For the weather comment, as my wife would say, how about that climate change deniers? My wife is big on climate stuff, and she tends to be right more often than not. Yeah, dude. The weather being whiplashy, I don't know. Is it a sign of the end times? Probably not. Is it natural? No, not at all. But I'm going to keep buying stuff in plastic and styrofoam and cardboard. So am I really a part of the solution? Probably not. That's me. That's how I'm doing. Not a part of the solution at all. Actually, I went to a high school basketball game yesterday. That was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched De La Salle kick the shit out of Grand Rapids. That was awful.
Iran to climate change to De La Salle.
I'll say, as a cathedral grad, I feel like the only cathedral claim to fame we had in basketball when I was there was we had a guy who dunked on Chet Holmgren at the state basketball tournament one year. They lost the game, but like he dunked on like a now NBA player. So like that
what was his name?
I think it was Mitch Plombon, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I remember
That's
that
the most
name.
St. Cloud name of all time.
I think it was him. I mean, I didn't really know the guys on the basketball team that well, but like I remember, obviously as a student, you go support in the student section, and I remember that was like they lost because that was a really good team that year because they had like all these NBA guys on there, but like we had one dunk on him, which was pretty sweet. But to be fair, Chet Holmgren probably weighed like 100 pounds, so like
still weighs 100 pounds.
Yeah, like he was really skinny, so
Do you guys ever think about how crazy it is that, and I know this is a hockey show, but Minnesota, I think in back-to-back years with Jalen Suggs and Chet Holmgren, Minnesota had 2 top 5 NBA draft picks come out of its high school. and like nobody cares. Just whatever. And Minnesota gets taken. A Minnesotan gets taken at the end of the NHL first round, and everybody throws.
Nobody talks about it. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I love high school basketball.
Basketball. Yeah, shout out March Madness.
Yeah,
any of you guys have any good brackets going on right now?
My bracket sucks.
It sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any college basketball this season. But if we're talking basketball, I'd love to talk Minnesota Timberwolves. Wish we would have lost last night, so we'd have a better draw in the playoffs. There's some insight for you.
Okay, sweet.
Damn.
Well, might as well get back to hockey.
I got an update on Mitch. I got an update on Mitchell Plombon.
I think he played D3.
Yeah, he went to Winona State and redshirted a year, and then switched over to St. John's for the remainder of his collegiate career. 6'7", 215. His position, the post, and let's see what he averaged per game.
6'7" seems a little
post.
6'7" seems a little excessive.
He averaged 11 points per game in 22-23 in his final season with the Johnnies.
That's solid. That's double digits.
It was
double-digit household.
11 points and 6 rebounds.
I don't think he was like the top guy. There might have been one other guy on the team that actually played D1 a little bit. I don't remember. But no NBA draft picks on Cathedral basketball, so, that's just how it is.
No University of Minnesota hockey managers on the
basketball team. Here was the headline from 2019. It was an ESPN clip. It says, St. Cloud Cathedral's Plombon rises for nasty poster dunk. And I was like, nasty. Okay. Well, then at least you could say your whole life, like, you could watch an NBA game and every time you see Chad Holmgren be like, I dunked on that guy. And I was like, that'd be a sweet party fact,
I like that.
Yeah.
Better than what I could say.
Yeah.
Who'd you dunk on?
I didn't dunk on any. Actually, I dunked on all those dummies in the spelling bee when I was in 5th grade.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, I finished third.
I was about to say
I dunked on a few kids.
I dunked on all but 2.
I remember watching the kid who won. His name was Greg Schooneman, and the winning word was super. Though. The winning word was superintendent, which I knew, but I got knocked out on one with like a double S in there. So I got this little handheld radio that I would use to listen to KDWB. So not always.
You're not rattled by it though. If you know the kid's name, the word he won on.
Yeah, not at all.
How far do you think you would have gone in life had you won that spelling bee?
Oh, I would have. I might have made the dean's list once. I might have graduated high school on time. Just kidding.
Would you be like Secretary of State right now if you had won that?
No, I don't think I'd be Secretary of State. I think I'd probably be. No, I'd be right where I am. I was always destined to do this. Always.
Talking to him like, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe in accidents.
Okay.
You were always destined to finish third.
Yeah, I was always destined to finish third. I was always destined to drive a crappy car. I was always destined to live in St. Paul. There's a tangent for all of our listeners out there.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to tweet out these college scores. So if you hear background noise, I'm so sorry, everyone.
Are you double dipping? Are you trying to do 2 jobs at once, Sydney?
Well, I'm trying to tweet about.
You can't even get all of our attention to focus on the podcast.
This is ridiculous.
Our 11 listeners are going to be so upset.
Quinnipiac just won. They need to know, obviously.
Oh, Quinnipiac just won? Oh my gosh.
Quinnipiac
our 11
won.
Listeners who want to hear about junior hockey, want to hear about what's happening in college hockey. They'd much rather hear about finishing third place in a spelling bee.
In other news, outside of Quinnipiac, I washed my hair today.
Okay.
I threw conditioner in. I conditioned today.
Wow.
Big day for the fellas.
Okay.
I didn't brush my hair afterward, though. I just kind of threw the fingers through it and said, we're A-okay. Then now I put a hat on.
Okay. Wild. But yeah, spelling bee. I was in a spelling bee once in elementary school, side tangent to the tangent. Like when I was really young and I lost on the word kindergarten, RIP.
You lost on the word kindergarten?
I did. I spelled it with
Oh
a
my
D
God.
instead of a T in garden.
Can you spell it for us now just to get redemption?
Yeah.
I could. I think I have
Let's hear
great
it.
spelling now.
hear it.
KINDERGARTEN. Slam
Are you
dunk.
sure?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not gonna lie. You went so fast that we're gonna have to give you a new word.
You're gonna give me a new word.
I'm just waiting to hear a bunch of keys on a laptop as she desperately checks the spelling of kindergarten.
No, I know kindergarten. Slam dunk. I got it.
If the Gopher men's coaching search has taught me anything, is that the vast majority of people that are really into college hockey probably can't spell kindergarten. That's all I got out of the
Probably.
discourse.
Maybe we should
like
ask
that.
all the guys in the USHL, like, since we're on a USHL show mostly, like, if they could spell kindergarten. That'd be entertaining. Drew, content idea.
Yeah,
But you wouldn't be able to. But if a kid misspelled it, you wouldn't be able to put that on the internet because they would just get
Why?
destroyed.
Who cares? That'd be funny. Content.
Yeah, it'd be funny for us. It would be completely embarrassing for that child.
Why? They don't care.
I mean,
They're
Why?
happy.
I made
They're
one of them
making
admit they
hockey.
sleep with their socks on though. So like, I'm in the business of embarrassing them.
You're in the business of embarrassing the kids on your team.
Like that they can't spell, sure. Now it's like, hey, this kid sucks at hockey. Probably not, but
Yeah, I don't think spelling that. They're going to school for hockey. I don't think most of them are going to school for school.
and you know what? Some of them are still in high school, so they can still learn how to spell.
Very true. Very true.
I bet Andy Brandt knows how to spell kindergarten.
Yeah, I bet Andy Brandt should apply for that St. Cloud State job.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Ooh.
I mean, well, why don't we just segue then off of our tangent? I'll put this first thing down farther. Why don't we just get it out of the way? We already talked about a lot of this on the college show, so I won't rehash all the stuff we talked about. We all know Brett Larson has taken the University of Minnesota job. We don't need to delve into the college aspects of it, but everybody's obviously kind of curious about who's going to apply now for the St. Cloud State job because obviously, I'm sure there's going to be USHL coaches that are going to be applying or other various junior hockey related people. Obviously, a lot of people think, Nick Oliver's got to be the call number one, former USHL guy now in Wisconsin. So obviously that's a big thing. And also like assistant coaches, that's going to be a big thing. Recruits, we can kind of talk about all that. But I don't know, Drew, I know you had some predictions or maybe hopes of some guys that would possibly maybe be thinking about the job or guys that you think maybe they'd reach out to.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Oliver's number one. I saw someone on Twitter say, "Oh yeah, they have to call Garrett Raboyne." Like, let's be real. Raboyne turned down offers. That's like a no answer potentially even. Nick Oliver's number one in my books as a Huskies alum. To me, I think if it's not Nick Oliver, I could see them just taking a safe hire. I'm not saying that's what I want them to do, but I could see them saying if it's not Nick Oliver, that it'll be RJ Anga. The other names that I would want him to reach out to, Brett Skinner, in the Penticton. I always forget the Penticton guy's name. He's a Husky alum. And the other one, I'm throwing it out there. I would obviously like him to be the coach of the Capitals still, but where did the top returning point scorer play junior hockey, and who do you play for? And who are you probably trying to keep in your system the most if you're the St. Cloud State Huskies? Madison, Andy Brandt, I would want to throw in the mix. I don't think Andy's applying for it, and I think Andy's pretty happy here in Madison. But I think Brett Skinner, Nick Oliver, what's the Penticton guy's name? I say it.
Brett Harbinson.
Brett Harbinson.
I know he's Mr. Penticton. At one point, did coach for St. Cloud under Motzko. So I don't know. There's a connection there, and he's proven he can win at multiple levels now. I always wonder, just to throw like an option like a Scott Langer, for example, right? He won at the NAHL level for so long, went to the USHL, wasn't the best, right? But he's a master at the NAHL level, and he's probably the best ever NAHL coach. The difference between hiring someone at the BCHL level that had success there and hiring somebody that's a BCHL level coach that also had success at the WHL is a lot different. Like that this year in Penticton has proved a lot outside. Like, hey, Penticton's legit this season on 1 year. So that would be kind of my three outside of Nick Oliver. Andy Brandt, I always like to throw in the conversation just because I think he'd, if there was a broadcast role open, I think he'd be like, I think you guys should hire Drew Steele. So if there's a coach opening, I think they should hire, hire Andy Brandt. I think if anyone can find like application online, send me the link and I'll just forward it to Andy like once a day just to see what we can do. I looked for it today and I couldn't find it. So
maybe it's not open yet. Maybe they haven't officially. I don't know.
You should call him right now.
Andy?
Live
call
on
him right now while we're recording.
I think they're having team dinner in Sioux City, Iowa right now. So
gotcha.
So he's looking for a reason to get out of it. Wouldn't you look for a reason to get out of team dinner in Sioux City, Iowa?
It depends on where you're eating dinner.
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden, I'm guessing they're probably not at an Olive Garden if I had to guess.
Texas Roadhouse.
Cafe.
Texas Roadhouse, I would want to stay because what if you miss the Cotton Eye Joe?
What?
They dance the Cotton Eye Joe, don't they? Isn't that a Texas Roadhouse thing?
Really?
I've been to Texas Roadhouse a few times. I can't tell you. Probably.
They dance to some song at Texas Roadhouse. I don't know what it is.
Don't they do some like boot stomping and clapping?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like
rootin' tootin'.
If I'm being honest here, there's 0% chance of taking that call until after the boot scootin' boogie or whatever they dance to is done.
Are they at
I never knew that there was a dance at Texas
Roadhouse. Pop restaurants in Sioux City.
What's the name?
The Diving Elk.
No, but that's a great name for a restaurant. Yeah. And our director of sales here in Madison, Jacob Thrush, actually shaves with an elk antler. Fun fact.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Huge shout out to Jake.
Shout out. So yeah, there's people that are obviously like, oh, who's going to take that job? I don't know yet. I've had a lot of people tweet at me. What are you hearing? I'm not hearing a whole lot right now. So we'll see.
Do you just need to respond to those people? Andy Brandt.
Just peer pressure him into applying for the job.
Yeah.
Everyone message him. Everybody go tell him he needs to apply. Take some caps with him. That'd be pretty cool. And
maybe a broadcaster.
Yeah, and broadcaster, that'd be sweet. So that was kind of a big thing, is like what coaches are going to replace Brett that we could talk on the show. And also something that will affect the guys that we talk about on the show as well is kind of like the whole assistant coach situation. Because I know Drew was hearing some info that like it sounded like originally recruits were being like possibly told that assistant coaches were like staying. And according to our college pod the other day, Tony said it sounded like maybe Ben Gordon was going to stay on, but like everybody's saying it's going to be Corey Leyland and Matt Cullen. And if that's the case, I can't imagine the staff is going to look very similar next year. So obviously that's going to definitely impact recruits. I mean, if it's an entirely different staff, that's, I don't think it would change too many Minnesotans' minds because they're going to want to be a Gopher, but obviously that could change some things for sure.
My thought with that is, if you're committing to the University of Minnesota, are you committing to Bob Motzko or are you committing to be a Gopher?
Yeah.
I mean this in the best respect ever. I think they could probably put Kermit the Frog back behind the bench and they'd still get decent recruits because they're the University of Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
So like, how many of those actually bail? I guess we'll find out. I would love to see Kermit. Maybe Miss Piggy can be the GM if Kermit's the head coach.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't discount Kermit as a recruiter.
Yeah, true. He'd start ripping Rainbow Connection, and then like NIL dollars would be flooding in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't necessarily affect like Minnesotans because they probably grow up wanting to be a Gopher, but I feel like it could maybe affect. They don't have too many non-Minnesotans, but there's a couple of guys where I'm like, oh, I could see that guy, like that might be interesting. Like we were talking yesterday, a guy like Matthew Grimes, he's from New York. He's playing for Sioux Falls, I think right now. It's like, what would a guy like that do? Is the coaching staff going to want to keep him on? Is he going to want to play for a different staff? Like, just a lot of guys like that where it's like, that'd be more of a question mark to me.
I think it affects more Minnesotans than we might think it does, because it's not like, airplanes exist. You can fly to other schools. There's also how many other Division I programs in the state of Minnesota. So I'm not sure it's as cut and dried as, it's the U, so I got to go there.
Yeah. How loyal were people to Bob? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. The other thing that you have to take into consideration too is the dollars. This gives them an excuse if they signed an NLI that they can get out of it for the next 30 days, right? So like they're almost hitting the portal before they have a chance to go into school, and they can use this as an excuse. Like this is how you're going to tell some characters of kids, to be honest with you. If they're backing out right now and chasing dollars, or if they're backing out going to schools that fit them more. Like I can tell you the schools that have the dollars, what schools would have like they're going after for their own gain, which obviously when you're a freshman, it's not like you're tied into the team, right? Like none of my buddies are going there. Maybe I played junior with one or two of them, but I wonder if they're chasing the dollar if they leave, because the NIL is a big piece of it now. And like Penn State's throwing $750K around, right? Like what's the difference between that and like you can almost bet against yourself or bet for yourself and see what happens. So I think that might be a big piece of the go for recruits and that side of things. And what the rest of the staff looks like will matter, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if it's a lot of go for recruits leaving as much as let's chase the NIL dollars, or hey, I'm coming to Minnesota now because of these assistants.
Yeah.
Hold on. I want to pick at something that Drew just said. You said you were going to find out a lot of kids' characters. Hard disagree. I'm not going to judge a kid's character based on if they're chasing NIL dollars at all. I detest the NCAA. If you have a chance to make money, whether you're playing basketball, football, sand volleyball, or hockey, and you are essentially an employee, because Division I athletics is a full-time friggin' job. If you look at some of the daily schedules of these kids, you absolutely deserve to get paid, and you should get paid absolutely what you're worth. It's also an insurance policy. If you stick around for 10 grand and you get hurt, you got 10 grand. What does that buy you in 2026? I don't know, a used Honda? Probably not, because Civics are kind of expensive right now. But if you go somewhere for $100,000 and you have the familial and financial infrastructure in place that'll take that $100K and invest it in something safe like index funds, or if they want to go crazy and invest it in oil or something, then you have this financial safety net where if you get hurt, you're not left holding the bag with nothing. I don't disagree that the NIL and the portal is kind of shaken up the way we view kids and loyalty and whatnot, but if the coaches aren't forced to stick around some places, I'm never going to judge a kid for leaving for more money.
The one thing I would say to that, like, was Bob getting the Wyatt Cullen level players at St. Cloud? No. Like, that would be the reason why I don't think like people are committing to the University of Minnesota for Bob Motzko is basically what like my real thought is with it. I think Bob doesn't hurt the case by any means, but I do think that a lot of Bob's recruits to St. Cloud stayed at St. Cloud when Larson took over. I could just see the Minnesota kids doing the same, right? Staying the course, and maybe they get their NIL boost at Minnesota. Who knows?
I don't know who's coming out of the woodwork to sign those NIL checks, and I don't want to make this a soapbox where I just yell, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of the NCAA.
Okay.
All right.
Well, there's a good tangent. And also we'll have to kind of keep an eye on as well the St. Cloud State recruits, because obviously whenever a new coach is announced, any of those guys and juniors right now, they're gonna have to also make a decision of like, okay, is Brett gonna, flip them to the Gophers? Are they gonna stay committed to Huskies? Are they gonna go somewhere else completely? That's also an option. So there's gonna be a lot of decisions coming up for a lot of different people. So we're just gonna have to keep an eye on it. That's kind of just how it is.
What if I keep two eyes on it?
2 eyes on it. 2 double eyes.
Don't forget the
Four
third
in my
eye.
case.
Drew is
4
on.
eyes.
Forget the third eye. Always open.
Okay. Surveillance wands. Shout out.
You've heard of the Illuminati? Try the Illumahaki.
Yeah.
I like that.
They're scary people.
Tweet that.
Yeah.
If you're not going to tweet it, I might tweet it right now.
I think you should 100% tweet it. Sydney's going to update her transfer portal tracker and tweet out a college hockey score.
It's funny.
You're
I'm
going to tweet something.
literally tweeting someone about the portal right now. Everyone's asking me questions about it. I'm like, how to respond to everybody. It's wild.
Oh, man.
So we talk about recruits and all that stuff.
Tweeted.
Assistant coaches started yawning, long week. So that's just a situation we'll have to keep our eyes on, all of our eyeballs on. A very interesting thing I thought I would bring up. I saw this today on social media platforms. It's from the NAHL, but I think it's kind of also like related to other junior leagues as well. The NAHL posted a picture with words on it that says made with AI, so I'm disappointed already. But
I'm disregarding everything it says made with AI. You can't make a graphic like that in Canva. Yes, you can.
It's literally a blue graphic with the NAHL logo with text on it. They can't make that. Like, that was disappointing to me. First of all, you don't need to make that with AI. It's not even a cool graphic. It's just text on a blue background. So that was disappointing because I'm sure they have a graphics person. But basically, it's this press release announcement, I guess, that basically says if you're competing in a, quote, non-sanctioned junior league in the USA, you are ineligible to compete in the NAHL that league year. So basically what that means is, like, if you're playing in like the USPHL or the NCDC or those types of leagues, you can't play in the NAHL that season. So kind of wild. A lot of people are responding to it, obviously negatively, and they're hiding a lot of the responses on Twitter because it says there's supposed to be 19 responses and they're only showing 5. So obviously they're kind of throwing a little bit of the criticism, kind of hiding it under the rug a little bit. I like one of these burner accounts just says NAHL is a pyramid scheme, fake hockey for D3 garbage men. So I'm sure they're hiding some of the replies because some of them are a little much.
D3 garbage men. I'm thinking they're working for talent sanitation.
Some people.
Whoa, no. But garbage men, it's not a bad job to have right now. That's job security. That's pension. That's benefits.
As my buddy Nick, who's in the garbage business, he always tells me business is always picking up in that business too.
Yeah.
I literally asked him that today via text. I said, "Hey, how's business?" Always picking up every single time.
Picking up. I got a hot take on this, but Sid, if you got a hot take, I'd love to hear your hot take.
I don't have a hot take. First of all, I just wanted to read it because obviously this was kind of a bold statement, and I know it's a lot of people are kind of comparing it to the Hockey Canada situation when the BCHL kind of decided to do its own thing. So just definitely going to be a little interesting because usually there's a lot of USPHL, NCDC type guys that end up, kind of moving league to league type thing. And now it sounds like they're not going to be able to do that. It has to be NA3 up to NHL, and that's kind of it unless you're in Canada. So I don't really think that's a great thing. Obviously I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it sounds like it's probably not great.
I wonder. Oh yeah, go for it.
No, go ahead, Drew. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if it means that the league gets younger. Because in theory, right? In theory, they could take a kid that's 19 years old that played in the NCDC and then play his 20-year-old year in the NAHL, and now they can't do that, and there's not junior like. If their only option is an NA3 kid who isn't as good as an 18-year-old kid that's playing 18U AAA, I wonder if the league just gets younger as a whole if this stays, right? Like there's a chance that someone goes in and goes, because one of the other comments from the burners is how fast they'll get sued for this. I'm not saying I think they're going to get sued for it right away, but the NCAA, that's how NIL kind of got kick-started, right? One player sued because of, hey, I made money, but like not as much money to make a living. Like I'm still an amateur, whatever. So I wonder if it gets younger if this stays pat, just because like the AAA kids, like the second line AAA kid that would eventually have to go play in the NCDC and that sort of thing. I wonder if it fast tracks their timeline.
Interesting. Any other thoughts, Peter?
Yeah. Okay. So what pisses me off is the last part here.
Yeah.
Like you're ineligible to play in this league, and here are the ones that you are eligible to play in. And the only one below us that you're eligible to play in the NAHL just happens to be the NA3. So you're not allowed to play in the NCDC or the USPHL, which are pay to play. Am I right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Your only option is our pay to play league.
I think NA3 is pay to play, and so is like USPHL and all the other.
And obviously that's a sliding scale. Like some kids aren't paying nearly as much as others based on whatever deal they've worked out. But what I'm getting from this is, do you want to play in the NAHL this year? Well, then you have to play in our pay to play league.
Yeah.
They're going to get sued for this. Somebody's going to
strange.
Okay, I shouldn't say they will get sued. I could see somebody suing them based on competition or a monopoly.
Yeah,
or some sort of gatekeeping.
I get that they want to keep it like NA3 to NAHL, but obviously, as someone that runs the tenders list, it's very rare for guys to move up actually from NA3 to NAHL and stick full time. Very, very rare. Very, very, very rare. Because I literally do stats on that. And also, I feel like then a lot of guys end up going to those other kind of random leagues. No offense to those, but like USPHL or NCDC, because sometimes it seems a little easier for them to go there to the NAHL instead of NA3 to NAHL, because every once in a while they'll stick a little bit better. So it seems a little odd that they'd want that to be the pipeline when there already really isn't much advancement NA3 to NAHL right now.
No, and I also think like some kids might choose the NCDC or the USPHL based on what kind of playing time they're going to get on that team, the proximity of that team to their house. I mean, God forbid. But I would understand it more if the NAHL gave an actual reason for why they were doing this, but they just don't. They're just like, here are the leagues you're allowed to play in, and we're going to turn off. They turned off comments for a little while because I looked at this tweet earlier today. Okay. It just like shrink. I'm never in favor of shrinking the options without an actual reason, and it just feels like there's no reason to do this. Was it that big of a problem having kids from the NCDC or the USPHL coming through? Was it that big of a deal?
My question is, why is the USPHL and NCDC not sanctioned? I actually don't know the reason for that.
I have no idea.
But like maybe that's part of the reason USA Hockey could be cracking down and be like, hey, like you guys are just you guys are becoming like a hotbed of like development for these leagues that aren't, I don't know what the term is, if it's a reason that like this league isn't safe, like it's not refereed the correct way or what, you know what I mean? I don't know what exactly that is.
Some of those leagues can be kind of the Wild West, so like I get wanting to kind of maintain a standard a little bit, but it does feel a little odd because obviously you want to have, more hockey is good in a way, so you don't really want to lose it.
I think a lot during this fall, maybe it was this fall, but we saw a lot of teams setting up shop in places and then not paying the bills. Like there was one company that had like a bunch of teams and they weren't paying the facility that they were playing at, so they got evicted from the facility. But if that's the reason, then say that. And USA Hockey should come out with a parallel statement that says to ensure the integrity and to protect players, this is why we're doing this. Because on its face, it just looks like the NAHL is saying you can't play anywhere but our league, but our minor league.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's why I kind of wonder if this holds, if it just gets younger by the advancement stats, Sid, that you were talking about, right? Like if not a ton of people are going from the NA3 to the NAHL, maybe it's going to be second and third liners on Little Caesars 18U team making the step up instead of that then, right? Like maybe it's a bunch of Team Wisconsin kids that normally would have to spend a year with the PAL Islanders or whatever, you know what I mean?
I love the PAL Junior Islanders.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like maybe
playing
it is
athletics
that
for
reason.
Life. What?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just think like I just wonder if it just gets younger as a league, which I think is better for. If the NAHL gets younger as a league, I think it's better for junior hockey across the board because it becomes like a development league for the USHL, for major junior, which like as much as USA Hockey probably would also like to say, if you play in the NAHL, you can't play major junior. But it becomes a development league for those sort of leagues. And I think their alums get significantly better and they can market themselves as more Connor Hellebucks instead of more D3 trash men, to put it in the comments.
I think that the NAHL is too important to close its door, or to close its door a little bit. The NAHL is super important in the junior hockey ecosystem, so I don't want to see its door closed at all.
Yeah. So that was just a very interesting post that came out today. Wanted to mention it. And also just do better as an organization. Don't use AI to make your text post. Like, that is so stupid. I'm sorry.
I will say that I've seen some of those made with AI things get put on stuff that wasn't made with AI, like Muskegon.
Oh, really? Well, I hope it wasn't.
Muskegon had a graphic posted like that they made. And I trust their guy when he like responded. Yeah. Just so you know, this graphic was not made with AI. Like
weird.
Like,
well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt then, and hopefully they didn't.
Yeah.
Hopefully they didn't.
Because and to be honest with you, it's not like AI did anything like, oh my God, this graphic's unbelievable. Like, I would hope they have somebody in their office that can make a gradient from dark blue to light blue with text on the top of it.
I hope so.
It'd be different if they were like draw it, like all their alums were on the top, really cool. like I don't know. I would hope that this could be done.
It's like the top NAHL alums with like as like I don't know, something crazy, like as a mythical beast or something, like those wild, really bad AI slop videos and stuff.
100%.
That'd be insane. So just wanted to bring that up because obviously that will be relevant in the future, and there's going to be impacts of that for sure, because there definitely are guys that will switch kind of from some of those other Wild West leagues into the NAHL, and it looks like that's not going to happen anymore. So that will affect things for sure. Maybe next week we'll see if there's any other, things that come out related to that. Otherwise, kind of back to the USHL, and obviously now that we're kind of back to that, big shout out to our sponsor, the USHL. Thanks for sponsoring the show and having us talk about the USHL and the whole league and everything. We love the USHL. It gives its players and coaches, obviously, as we just talked about, who's going to, fill in for Brett Larson at St. Cloud State, coaches and players and everybody in between, fans, a great experience. So we love the USHL, and thanks so much for sponsoring the show. And we got some USHL news now, which is sweet. A couple of USHL tenders coming in, not Minnesotans, but obviously if you get a USHL tender, that is a pretty big deal because there's not too many that get handed out every year. I don't know a ton about these players, but we might as well take a look at them anyway. The first one is Christopher Pinko, tendered with Des Moines, a guy who, listed as a pretty on the smaller side a little bit, but he's only 15, so can't really take that into account too much. It says dual citizen, USA, Czechia. Love that. Playing for the North Jersey Avs this year. So I don't know, Drew, have you heard anything about this player? Because obviously I don't know many, players on that team, or played a lot of
not a ton.
AAA, I guess, this year, and I can't say I watched a lot of that league or team this season.
That's exactly where I'm at too. I haven't seen a ton. For those not familiar with USHL tenders, I can kind of rip through like what it means, because I think the NAHL tender. Can you describe what a NAHL tender means, Sid?
Yeah, so basically a NAHL tender, when I try to describe it to people, is if you're a team and instead of drafting somebody, you'd rather just know that you have their rights, you can sign them to a tender, which means you don't have to wait to try and get them at the draft. But it's a lot different because NAHL teams get a lot of tenders, and the USHL usually will tender a guy every season, a guy or two. So it's a lot more rare to get a tender in the USHL. The NAHL, there's a lot of tenders every year.
Yeah, so the USHL, how tenders work, you can get up to 2 of them on your team. And when you tender a guy, you lose your first round phase 2 pick, or phase 1 pick. When you tender a second player, you lose your second pick in the phase 1 draft, which basically supplements your affiliate list and eventually puts them into your pipeline for the future. you still have to draft 15 players in the phase 1 draft, regardless of how many tenders you add. Those picks just get thrown on the end. So last year, for example, the Capitals tendered Michael Tang and Steven Cover, and the Capitals had 3 15th round picks. They just slapped them on the end of the draft, and now those players are on the affiliate list. So that's kind of how the process works. The big part, the difference that you kind of said, the tenders are rights in the NAHL, where in the USHL, they're rostered players and they have to play at least 55% of the games. So it's not like you're coming into the league, you're a tender, like, oh, great, like, I'm going to go and hopefully make the roster, which is how it is in the NAHL. Where in the USHL, like, when Steven Cover signed his tender last year after the national championship win for Mount St. Charles, he was signed as tender, and he was on the roster for the 25-26 season, having to play X amount of games. When the player doesn't play a certain amount of games, teams get in trouble. I don't know exactly what happens. I believe Cooper Simpson a couple of years ago didn't hit the certain number of games. But like Gunnar Convoy, when you sign that tender, you're in Green Bay for the year. So like I heard people say, oh, I think this person's going to come back even though they signed a USHL tender. They ain't coming back if they sign a USHL tender. I hate to tell you. And if they do, the team's in some deep crap. So, like, I don't think teams are signing those kids to tenders that would be on the fence about it, if that makes sense. For the most part, obviously, it happened a couple of years ago. So that's kind of the big difference between USHL and NAHL tenders. So, like, I see like the Minnesota Wilderness posting, hey, congrats to our guys, our tenders who are playing in the national championships this week in Green Bay or wherever the national championships there people are.
Yeah,
they might have 15 guys, and 7 of those guys might never touch the ice for the Wilderness. So like that's what like the difference is between the two, because it is like a different system compared to the NAHL, and like it can get confusing because they're using the same terminology. And I'm sure we'll get to eventually, because the playoffs will go through May. At some point, we'll probably be touching on the draft, and like that whole process is different too. Like it's all crazy how the processes work and having to like connect dots. And when I first showed up, I was in the NAHL the year prior to being in the USHL, and I was like, what's going on here? So if that describes kind of like, both these are completely different with that sort of thing. They use the same terms because that's what USA Hockey uses. Tender is a USA Hockey term, not a NAHL or USHL.
Yeah, we're going to start seeing tenders before the draft too. We don't even have to wait for the draft. Once nationals are done and they release, they get closer and closer to releasing that NTDP roster. Some of those kids are going to start signing USHL tenders because they thought they were going to make the team and then didn't make the team, or did make the team and decide they'd rather go to the USHL.
Yeah, this week's probably the most important week of the USHL recruiting schedule, I would say, because that's where you get like Steven Cover played great at nationals. Steven Cover got a tender at the end of it, right? Like, so that's the sort of like thing that can happen from having a good week at nationals, even if you're not the, like, oh my God, best player ever. If you lead nationals and goal, you have a good weekend. You could be leaving with a signed piece of paper or a visit, at least in the next week, to those teams. So, it's a weird process, especially with the NTDP being part of it. Like there's tenders offered in November, I think it's the first day you can offer them. And there's like the foreign kids will start signing them at that point. I don't remember the team. I think Tri-City signed one early on in the podcast history here. But throughout the year, you won't see too many Americans sign that tender until after NTDP trials, because they want to at least know if they made the team, and then they can make their choices. From what I'm aware, there are players that have chosen to decline the NTDP to go elsewhere. I think that's been a tweet on social media that we kind of talked about. So the tender world is weird, and I can imagine fans at home being like, this kid got tendered by the Minnesota Wilderness. What do you mean that he's playing somewhere else next season?
Yeah.
If there's a better option than the Minnesota Wilderness out there, they're not locked into playing for the Minnesota Wilderness. But if there's a better option out there than Madison, if they signed a tender with Madison, tough break, you signed a tender with Madison.
Yeah. And actually, fun fact, if any of you are nerds about this, like I am, I actually do stats on the NAHL tenders every year. I keep track of all of them, and then I go through and look at every single person who signed a tender, and then find out where they're playing at Christmas break. And I run stats on like, okay, how many percentage-wise did these players actually end up with that team they tendered with. Spoiler alert, it's not that high. So if you want to read that, or I have a tender tracker up for this year, if you're really into that nerdy stuff, I actually have that up on APX right now. So might as well just say as well, shout out to our other sponsor of the show, APX Hockey. If you want to nerd out and find that nerdy story, I have that up from this past winter on apx-hockey.com under the news tab. And I have the new NAHL tender database up under the databases tab. And I also just put the transfer portal up, and people love the transfer portal. So you can go see it.
Going crazy on it.
I color coded it this year, so it's a little nicer looking. The women's portal's
artistic.
Popping off. Women's portal's popping off as we speak. Men's portal not popping off yet, but probably will be in about 2 weeks. So that's kind of cool, but shout out APX. And I got some USHL stories coming your way soon and junior stories. I talked to Parker Duchesne last week. He's playing in the BC right now. And I talked to Keegan Davis, who's playing in Waterloo right now. He played at Benilde, and he's got kind of a cool hockey story. He's played in Michigan. He's played in LA. He's played in Minnesota type of story. So cool stuff coming your way from me. Some other news and notes here. A couple guys making their junior debuts. Sam Peckham of Edina makes his debut with Waterloo. Drew, a Minnesotan for the Madcaps. I think you rumored this was going to happen last time, but Braden Waller called up, as your graphic says, for anyone who still has beef with that. But that's cool. Shout out to St. Michael Albertville. And Caden Sasada, I don't think has played a game yet, but going up to, I believe it's Spokane of the WHL. So that's kind of cool. Commitments, decommitments, flips, not a ton over the past few weeks here. Jaden Kurtz of Rogers, the defender, he's on Central Scouting, commits to the University of Wisconsin. Currently playing with the Chicago Steel, got his first USHL goal recently as well. Paul Bloomer, not a Minnesotan, of Tri-City, commits to Alaska Anchorage. And a goalie who, I'm so sorry if I butcher his name, Louis Felix Charot. Shara, okay, close.
Shara.
Commits to new up-and-coming Maryville. Love all the Maryville recruits. 885 save percentage for Chicago. Also played in the Q. Fun fact, his sister is committed to Clarkson, so some college hockey players in the fam.
As soon as that kid hits the portal, that's going to be the first note in Sid's APX database.
Sister plays at Clarkson.
Sister plays at Clarkson.
Oh, I do that all the time. In the girls one right now, it's like, brother plays at Amherst. Dad played at St. Olaf.
My favorite is 3-time transfer. Also played at X and X.
Yeah, people love to be like, what is that person doing? Yeah.
You know what you say? Suitcase. You should also get a little suitcase emoji for each time they transferred.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. Couple of commitments and all that. Other news. We talked about some NAHL news. This is also related to NAHL news as well. The North Iowa Bulls relocating. Big news here.
Damn it.
The team is relocating to the Houston area beginning next season. The team will become the Houston Bulls in the NAHL South, play at the new Deep South Ice and Sports Center in Richmond, Texas. But the NA3HL team, the Mason City Toros, are staying in Mason City and then will rebrand as the North Iowa Bulls.
Sid, do you know the backstory of the Bulls franchise?
I do a little bit. I don't know all of it, but I know a chunk.
This is funny to me because they were in the NAHL South in Amarillo as of 2021, and then they relocated to Mason City to go up to be. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna move up here. And now they're right back down to Texas. I don't know. I think ownership is the same ownership as the Lincoln Stars, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Okay.
So that might have been part of the decision to move that direction, because you'll see a lot of Lincoln Stars players that go to the NAHL or on that team the same way. Hey, we're going to call a kid up from the NAHL. Oh, all of a sudden it comes from North Iowa. So there's the connection there. But, I think that's awesome, to be honest with you. Houston doesn't have a hockey team, and the size of that market's crazy, right? So they should be able to fill up a 2,000-seat arena with hockey fans in that market, in my opinion. And best of luck to them. The color changed. They went back to red and blue because I'm pretty sure that's the colors they were prior. So there's connected all the dots.
Dirty South.
Yeah, Dirty South.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting news there. Couple shout outs to some Minnesotans here. Cooper Anderson, former Elk River skater, Quinnipiac commit, playing for Aberdeen, breaks the single-season points record by a defenseman for the Wings. So that's kind of cool. Love to see it. Penticton in the Dub Team Awards, Louis Wayman got their Team Humanitarian of the Year award, so that's super cool. And Jacob Kvasnica, the Rookie of the Year award and scoring leader, so that's cool. And Wenatchee's Team Awards, Aiden Grossklaus, I believe, was Forward of the Year, Josh Toll, D of the Year, so a couple Minnesotans with some nice honors there. Drew, did you have any memes you saw this week? Because I didn't really see too much, honestly.
I didn't see too many.
Not a whole lot.
To be honest with you, those last two points kind of memes, in my opinion. Like we're talking about team awards. Let's you know what? Let's start naming YHH podcast awards. Who's the MVP of the pod? We can't vote for ourselves.
MVP of this pod or just the YHH podcast universe?
Pearl
is good. MVP of this pod. We gotta have awards so that way we can talk about it next week. Pearly, come here.
Pearl is the MVP.
Oh.
Yeah, Pearl's MVP.
Pearl, you're the MVP. You just got named.
Gordy.
Pearl, what do you gotta say?
I don't have a dog, so.
Yeah, you got a human. Yeah.
She's out in the other room. I can hear her right now being crazy. I was telling Drew before we started to record, having a toddler means before I was trying to record this hop on, my kid was trying to throw my deodorant into the toilet. Very cool, very fun. Similar to a dog, pretty similar.
Yeah, except my dog's trying to get shit out of the toilet.
Oh,
not
gotcha.
into it.
Gotcha.
There we go.
That's amazing.
Gordy.
That's all pod first team. That's all pod first team there.
I feel bad. I shook a bag of treats at him to get him to come up here. So now he's going kind of. Gordy, where'd you go?
Mine's pretty easy. She's just chilling.
You got to go. Now you got to go.
Pearl's just chilling now.
I'm sorry. I lied to you. Bye, Gord.
You got to give him a treat, dude.
Dude, my poor dog. He just gets used as a prop.
Any other tangents, news, miscellaneous news?
I got something here actually.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Something. So I looked up FNS management, and the cross reference that I've got is father and son management.
For what?
Oh.
What a hilarious name. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the same one. It might not be.
I don't know.
I don't think it's the same one, but I looked up FNS Management LLC. It says that the president, according to RocketReach.co, Tyler Schaffar, Schaffar,
probably
is based in San Francisco, California, and is a president at FNS Management Company.
He's the president of the Lincoln Stars.
But he's based in San Francisco, so obviously he wants a hockey team based in Iowa.
Let me look. It says he's a hockey manager at San Jose Sharks on LinkedIn.
Interesting.
But his elite prospect says that he's an
elite prospect. Discover the career of Tyler Schaffar.
It says he's the assistant coach for ACHA D2 San Jose State.
That's a sweet gig. Why would you ever leave that?
Yeah, I don't know. It does say that he was at least
job.
At one point, it says he was the team president. Let's see if that's the same. It doesn't say he's the team president on the Lincoln Stars website, but they also don't have a team president listed on their team website. So I wonder if he's like the organization's president, kind of like you said, and like manages both of them. But yeah, Houston Bulls, big balls in Cowtown.
Dude, I would love to get a hold of an entire ownership list for like all of junior hockey.
I can get you on for the Madison
Capitals. Black Bear, half of them. Huh?
Well, Black Bear can't play in the NAHL now, though. The half they own besides Maryland.
Oh.
That makes sense. They own NCDC, USPHL.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah,
so,
if somebody was ever going to file a lawsuit, it might be Black Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would be curious to see a spreadsheet. Sid, get on that.
Spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Yeah, do
Ownership-
it
hey, I
for
can-
free.
I can
Ownership group.
contribute. I can contribute.
Ooh, ownership
That's
group.
Who owns the
Capitals are-
Caps?
I already get hate mail about
Legacy-
the null tender stuff. I'm
Legacy
gonna get a lot of
20 and
hate mail
Ryan
about
Suter.
ownership groups. People don't
Legacy
Ryan
believe that.
Suter
I
owns
get
the Caps.
mail about the null tenders. There's teams who have messaged me that do not like that I post that, and I would get a lot of hate mail. I bet about ownership groups. They would not want me to.
Who?
Hold on. If they don't like that, then don't put out the tweet saying good luck to all of our tenders.
Oh well, some of them don't, but I found out anyway. It's okay.
Mm.
They
like
can't
that.
hide. They can't hide.
Can't hide from Sid. Can't.
Can't hide.
No. Can't hide.
Oh yeah.
They can run. They can run, but they can't hide, Sid.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna hunt you down.
Well, with that, anything from y'all?
No, that was a sick
No.
episode, though.
We did talk about hot dogs before the show. We thought about keeping it in.
Dude,
we'll throw it
I
in
could
now.
go for a hot dog.
You go for glizzy down the goblet right now, or what?
I love
sounds
hot
good.
dogs.
Can I say this? Joey Muse is probably going to clip this. My favorite condiment on a hot dog, and I'm not lying, is like fruit flavored yogurt. I'm not lying.
Yeah, we should have ended the podcast.
Not
I'm sorry.
opposed to it. I'm not opposed to
Fruit-flavored
it.
yogurt?
Next time you're eating a hot dog, like this sounds crazy, but I swear it's actually really good. Like get like a strawberry banana yogurt and like dip it in there. It's really good. I swear. I'm not.
Is that like
insane.
French
Banana?
fries and ice cream though? Like what are we
I
talking
don't know.
about?
I tried it once as a kid, and everyone thinks I'm insane, but like it's actually really good.
Yeah, I'm going to the ballpark today, guys. I need to bring a Go-Gurt with me.
Has anyone got any Yo Play?
No, like I'm serious.
Yeah.
I make it at
Hey,
home.
this condiment
sometimes.
stand only has mustard, ketchup, and relish.
Like
Where is the
the
Go-Gurt?
regular condiments are like fine too. Like that's like a different style. But like if you're ever looking to shake it up, like take a hot dog out of the fridge, pop it in the microwave, take it out,
Pop
put it
that
up, once,
glizzy in
and
there.
like open like a little cup with some like peach, strawberry, banana, cherry. Highly recommend those. Like dip it and then like eat it. It's really good actually.
I like that
What
she's
are you
got. What
talking
can you
about?
can you rank those? Can you like tier list those? Like, can we get a tier list on Twitter from Sid of hot dog condiments? It's gonna
really
be
good.
it's gonna be S tier cherry Yo Play, and then it's gonna be like F tier ketchup, mustard, relish. Like you need to just trash the normal hot dog.
Yeah,
toppings.
and I had a friend in college once who said like, "Oh, Sydney, you told me that." So one time in my apartment, I was running low on food, as you do in college, and was like, "Oh, I actually tried that because I didn't have many ingredients, and it wasn't good." I was like, "Well, whatever."
Yeah. You're
Whatever.
telling me Oscar Mayer doesn't go with Go-Gurt? You're kidding.
Well, I'm just saying, it's a hidden, good food that most people don't know.
Sid, you know what that is? That's great content for my Twitter or for my TikTok in the off season.
Your TikTok,
We need
yeah.
to
I mean, you could go to the
We're
rank
trying-
and ask for a hot dog and be like, "Hey, you got any like flavored yogurt in here?"
No, I'm doing brat reviews of all the USHL buildings that I go to this year.
It's
What?
not as good with brats, I will say
For
that,
real?
but like you could with
Yeah.
brats. It's not. As
I
good
mean,
with
I think I've had 6 or 7 different brats from USHL arenas this year. But like I need
No.
some content in the off season, so maybe I go out to the grill up a glizzy.
I wouldn't recommend it as
Throw
much.
some.
It's a lot better with a hot dog. I will say.
Yeah, but I'm
more of,
just
like, a
saying.
brown mustard or like horseradish person, but like
I'm in the food game on TikTok, so I'll just be like, yeah. So this
I
one
will-
really
I will-
famous
I will
podcaster I
also
know.
end that tangent by saying I do know how to cook. I promise. I'm not like just like some rando who like can't make anything. I actually think I'm a good cook. That's just like one of my rando foods. I don't know.
Oh,
Can we get
let's
one other
play this
rando food?
game. Let's play this. What's the best thing you make?
Best thing I can make homemade bread now. I make homemade kimchi. I make really good.
That's not cooking though. That's fermenting.
I make really good blackened fish. I make
Okay.
really good. I'm trying to think. I make really good shrimp. I don't know what I call it. The style. I just like to throw
Okay.
things in.
So when I was creating my Tinder before I matched
Yes.
with my wife, I put on there, let me cook the one thing I'm proud of. So that would be your meal if you're trying to woo
I can
Jay.
make birria tacos. Really good.
You would make birria tacos to woo Jay all over
Czech
again.
style goulash. really good.
Okay, you got to pick one though. If Jay said, Sydney, you need to make me the greatest thing you can.
I couldn't like cook good like a few years ago, but during COVID, like obviously we were all really bored. So I was like, I might as well just like learn to cook like during COVID because there wasn't a whole lot else to do. But I feel like if you like come over to my house ever, I'm like kind of a fire chef. So like low key. But
Drew,
I
what do you make?
I might also make you a yogurt hot dog though. So like, or like a Jack's pizza that's like $3.
I'm getting a response from my wife right now. I sent a text saying, if I had to make one meal to woo you all over again, what would you have me cook? Yeah, so like, what would you have me cook? You hear that?
Let me do that too. Let me ask.
She goes, she goes, I don't fucking know.
Get that beat button. Get that beat button, dude.
No, wow. I would say that I would probably cook. It's one of her recipes, but I think both her and I would admit that like I have the patience for it more than she does. I would say Alfredo pasta. I know, that's what I just said. I said it's your recipe. But
so what you're saying is you dump the jar sauce in there really well.
No.
Dump Prego. Throw a little red.
No, we make a roux.
Cheese Alfredo in there.
We make a roux, some butter, some flour. Then you put cream. You put some mozzarella over the top. You mix it, season it up. That's probably what I would say. Like if I had to woo my wife all over again, that's probably what I would cook. I wouldn't have that recipe without my wife, but I think that my patience for it has perfected it as she kind of stares at me over the side. She knows that she doesn't get past the goop stage of it, which is important.
Goop.
Yeah, my husband confirmed it would be my goulash. I can also make homemade bread with it. Oh, you guys have dogs. My kid's coming in now at the end of the show.
Oh my gosh, we have a baby sighting. Baby sighting plus Jay.
Whoa.
She's gonna say hi. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Well, did you guys have anything? Or are we done?
Peter never said his.
So the one thing that I make, the one thing that I make that actually I have a frozen pizza recipe that isn't good, but I love it. So Lara's responding to my text right now, but one thing that I make that is actually really good is a spicy garlic ginger pork ramen. So
you don't just pour it out of the pack of ramen.
No, I make the noodles without the my potatoes. Wow, how about that? So I do ramen without the spice packet, and then I do a sauce out of miso, garlic, ginger, a little bit of soy, a little bit of olive oil, and then spicy Thai chilies.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
She says potatoes, which is basically just potatoes, a ton of butter, some lemon, and salt. Okay, I think that's
how our fans,
a good place to end it.
Feel right now too.
Is that a good way to end the show?
Hell yeah!
And that is my life. Okay. That was a good tangent to end on. Thanks so much for tuning into our wild episode of the YHH Junior Hockey Pod. I'm gonna go give my kid a hug, and for myself, for Peter, and for Drew, thanks so much for listening, and we'll be back sometime soon.